Hello and welcome to episode 10 of the Let Me Think podcast. And we have with us today Rebecca Matsil, who is from Perfect Foods. She will be talking with us about food as medicine. And I'm so excited to hear everything she has to say about how to become our most healthy selves, spiritually, mentally, and physically. And I'm Emily, and my co-host Gosia is also here. I am a spiritual writer and coach. You can find me at my website, wellnessoneness.com. Gosia, would you like to?
Hi, my name is Gosia. I'm the co-host of the podcast Let Me Think. I mainly focus on authenticity. I'm a life coach and I help people on their self-discovery journey, find their values, find what authenticity means to them, and ultimately live the life that on the terms that feels good to them, not what society wants for them, but what they deeply want for themselves. So and you can find me on Instagram under Authentic Life with Gosia. My website is authenticlifewithgosia.com.
So, without further ado, Rebecca, could tell us where you are, how people can find you, and what you offer. We're so excited to hear
Thank
everything.
you. Thanks, Emily and Gosia, for having me. So I am in New York, and we're like about an hour and a half upstate from Manhattan. And we have a wheatgrass and microgreen farm. So it's an indoor farm, and we supply wheatgrass and microgreens to tons of juice bars and health food stores, like over 400 of them actually. And a lot of people, individual homes. So when COVID hit, we started really heavily focusing on bringing the produce, fresh superfoods to people's houses, because we realized that people weren't leaving their house as much, and also people needed more specialized attention rather than just like telling, hey, go to a store. And health and consciousness became so much more popular in the last few years since COVID that people want that more consistency and regularness in their lives. So we deliver the fresh superfoods, the wheatgrass, the microgreens, the sauerkraut for your gut, all that stuff to their houses. And we also do cleanses. So when COVID hit, also I started a raw vegan cleanse to help people, and if they can't go to a retreat center, or if they feel like they really need to reset their system, or they have gut health issues or brain fog, or all of the autoimmune things that we have going on today, that they can use this as a resource of just having tons of raw fruits and vegetables in their diet, and having tons of living foods in their diet. And it's been a wonderful thing. So we've created a community, and it's been really, really cool. So that's how I met Emily. That's how I met you.
Yes.
I was through that. So I'm really grateful for that program, because it's helped me to meet so many incredible people, and also to connect them with each other, which has been a gift, because that's, I think, one of the things that we have a lot of trouble with now is connection and having a community. And on one hand, food as medicine is important, but on the other hand, community and spirituality is just as important. So it's a combination of all of that.
Yeah, and it brings people together. Yeah, I did Rebecca's cleanse. It's a raw vegan cleanse. I did it for 1 week. I think it was April 2021. And I think I did another one since then. And she will mail you a box full of goodies, all the microgreens that they grow on her family's farm, and the wheatgrass is very important. So I also got a juicer. I actually have some green juice right here, inspired by Rebecca. Let me take a sip. I think I made it a little tangy, a little too much mixture of the kale and apple. But anyway, it tastes like heaven in a way. I think of it as my medicine. And Rebecca's so inspirational to me. Did I ever tell you that, Rebecca? She is my friend, not just someone who I did a cleanse with. I really respect her opinions about health, and she's seen a lot. She's worked with so many people of different backgrounds and who have different health concerns, and she's seen how it changes people's lives. I saw how it changed my life. It's very hard to stick to this kind of routine where you are defying society by not eating hamburgers and drinking sodas and like honing what you are putting in your body. So it's so important that she also has a community that she runs that meets once a week, and they're on WhatsApp, and she supports these people in their everyday lifestyle trying to be raw vegan. So I'll stop rambling.
No, I just wanted to say that it's my goal isn't to help people to be raw vegan necessarily.
Yeah.
My goal is to help people to like reset their body and to get more in touch with themselves and with eating healthier foods. So like I think that there's a big community of a big raw vegan community, and I sort of advertise myself as that. But then as you get to know us and the community, you realize that it's really not that at all. It's just I really believe in lots of high fruit, high vegetable diet, at least in the very beginning, or always really. So if you can just kind of like throw yourself into having tons of microgreens, tons of high chlorophyll, high amino acid, high antioxidant foods, you'll feel incredible. And then it gives you that inspiration, instant gratification inspiration that we need now more than ever. Like if you just put a little bit of green powder in your smoothie every day, you're not going to really feel anything, right? You're not going to really feel anything, and you're going to be like, I don't know if this is working, but fine, I'll keep doing it. But if you have wheatgrass juice every day, and you have sprout salads, and you have like, big smoothies every day and green juice, you feel it. And then that gives you the inspiration to be like, okay, yeah, right. Food is medicine. This isn't a joke. That's why I throw you into raw vegan, because I think it's the easiest, not easiest, but the quickest way to actually feel something. Yep.
Yes, it has very quick results. My skin changes when I eat raw vegan, and like you said, you get clarity of mind where you realize this is what I needed to be doing, and this is what I've been making bad choices for myself that has led to some problems. Yeah.
I have been vegan myself for 4 years. It will be 4 years this month. It is 4 years this month, actually. I've never actually tried a raw diet because I kind of have a preference for warming foods, for stews and quite substantial meals as well. So it would be interesting for me to know what would I feel like if I tried a raw vegan diet. Have you had anyone who's kind of like been eating more like heavier foods, and then they've tried a vegan diet and they've seen a significant improvement in their health?
Yeah. So, I mean, look at you. You look beautiful and healthy. So I would say that there's no like real reason to go raw unless you feel like there's something that you want to try to improve upon. Like if you feel healthy and like, if it works, don't change anything kind of thing. But it's important to have balance, So, but yes, of course, I've had people who are completely on the, standard American diet that did my raw program, meat, pasta, everything, and then went raw with me. And they were like, oh my God, it's night and day. So it's definitely possible, especially for you. It's going to be very easy. It's not going to be hard. You'll be surprised how easy it is, I guess. Like you think it's hard, like I'm just going to be having celery all day. But give you recipes, I give you smoothies, you juice for a couple of days, which juicing is always like a gift. I feel a good juicing day or two, it just like feels really good. And I will say this, that even when you're eating plant-based or vegan cooked, you still have that sort of like lethargy, because to some degree, because compared to raw, I don't know if you would even notice that you have it, but then when you eat the raw, you'll notice, because it's just not having as much of the fresh chlorophyll and the fresh phytonutrients that give you that little bit of like buzz. So when you're having everything cooked, it's taking away the enzymes, and the enzymes are kind of like give you that kick. So having, you don't even need to go fully raw, although that would be a good experiment for at least a few days, to have like a smoothie in the morning, a salad in the smoothie. Actually, the easiest way to go raw is smoothie in the morning, smoothie in the afternoon, and then salad at night. That's like if you just want easy. So, and it can be high fruit, it can be high greens, whatever. But then, and you have a little bit of seeds, and make sure that you make nice dressings, like, and make a nice tahini dressing and carrot ginger dressing. And then in my raw thing, I just made a cooked soup, like a vegetable soup. So at the end of the week, I'd like to make a nice big cooked soup. And that's just like, because I get it, especially during the winter, you want something warm. But interestingly enough, you can always have hot tea. And if it's making you feel good, then you'll keep doing it. So like when you have fresh stuff, you crave fresh stuff. When you have cooked stuff, you crave cooked stuff. And that's just the law. That's just when you have, it's just true. Like when you have fresh stuff, you crave fresh stuff. When you have cooked stuff, you crave cooked stuff. So it's probably hard to imagine craving fresh stuff, but it's only because you're not having as much of it.
Yes, you create momentum by eating certain foods, and it's like setting yourselves on that healthy journey. Like if someone has been eating kind of a junky food and then they start eating healthily, then they begin to see the difference in how they feel. They feel much better, more energized, so they kind of feed on that energy, and then the momentum grows, and then they want to keep doing it. And I wanted to talk about the benefits of the wheatgrass, because I'm so fascinated by it. I've never ever tried it. I've actually never seen it in any stores. I'll probably have to order it online. But I know that wheatgrass is the highest vibrational food. It's the top of the chain, and in that food pyramid. So I just wanted to ask you about the wheatgrass benefits and what people report on after they've started the cleanse, or they've introduced wheatgrass into their everyday diet.
Sure. So wheatgrass is usually the biggest thing is energy. So when you drink wheatgrass, it's like a shock to like your system. It's like, oh, like, yeah, it's kind of like it's like a coffee replacement to some degree when you're drinking it regularly like that. So that's the first thing, that it'll, you'll be more energized throughout the day. You'll need less sleep, all that stuff. And then it curbs your cravings a lot because it's so concentrated in nutrients. So like that one shot is equivalent to having like 2.5 pounds of green vegetables. So if you're having that much nutrition concentrated, you're not going to crave as much the sugars and the processed foods because your body is actually nourished. And I always like to use the example of like, you can have a bag of chips like endlessly, or like pretzels endlessly, because you're not really getting that much nutrition. So your body is saying stop. But when you have a big salad or a few wheatgrass shots, it's like a meal. Like your body's like, I'm good, thanks. So, and you don't really get that experience from our normal processed cooked foods because your body's never good. It's never fully nourished. But you have a shot of wheatgrass, it's a meal. Like you're good for like an hour or two.
Yes, yeah, definitely. I've noticed that ever since I've started eating like a healthy vegan diet, because obviously when I first started, I fell into the idea of soy burgers and all the processed kind of foods, but a lot of vegan sweets that were available as well. But as my diet became cleaner, then I stopped craving these sugary foods, these salty foods, and I don't feel like sometimes in the evening you feel like you want to eat something sweet or something salty before bed. I don't have those cravings anymore. So it's fascinating that when you decide to eat nutritious foods, you actually don't crave the so-called junk food. Obviously, I feel like the key is in balance, because from time to time it's okay, right? It's okay to have something that's not considered healthy, to keep that balance so we don't have those cravings at all. But it's fascinating. It's fascinating that nutrients and minerals in wheatgrass and other fresh vegetables and fruit can be so filling, right?
Yes. But I want to add that the process of adopting a very healthy lifestyle, either physically, mentally, or spiritually, is not always easy. Like, I teach meditation and I also teach Ayurveda, but to like somebody starting out meditating, it can be it can be a struggle to do that. And I noticed in the detox process, mentally and spiritually in meditation, and even physically too, things start to come up and it's uncomfortable. So I was just going to ask Rebecca, what do you notice when someone's drastically changing the way they eat and view food, and adopting food as medicine, as like a lifestyle? What is the detox process that you see? What are the challenges that people overcome?
Right. So there's the physical detox, which depending on where their diet is coming from, like Gosia, probably you wouldn't have any kind of major detox symptoms because you're already coming from a pretty healthy baseline. But somebody who is not really coming from a healthy baseline and going right into raw vegan, like around day 3, will start to have a headache. You might even have like flu-like symptoms because your body's sweating everything out. And you will literally detox. And that's one of the reasons why we're really into enemas. Sorry to bring this up, but it's just true.
Don't be sorry. Let's talk about enemas.
Let's talk about enemas. I don't even do them that often, like at home. I rarely ever actually, but when I go to these retreats, I do. They're like very heavily, they're like, it's a big part of like a retreat detox program. When you go, they actually say to do one every single day. So you do a water enema, and then you do a wheatgrass implant. So the water enema puts water into your colon so that it can clear it out. And then you can like release everything that's, release everything that's in there, because you want to make sure that as you're detoxing that you're releasing also. So, and then the wheatgrass implant is to make sure that you don't feel lightheaded. So you have extra electrolytes in your colon lining and all that stuff, because the people do coffee enemas too, but much better to do a wheatgrass implant. So, So I mentioned that because whether it's through an enema or it's through a sauna or something like that, but if you find that like you feel like you're in that detox state, you want to make sure that it's getting out. Otherwise, it's just all these things are stirring up in your body and you're not releasing them. So that's one thing. There's going to be some physical stuff that can come up. You can feel really tired and fatigued, but then usually by like day 5, it's gone. It's like a science. I mean, everybody has a different experience, but I've seen it so many times that it's like day 3, it hits them. Day 5, they're better, like almost every time.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you can just make it through those 2 days, you're good to go.
Yeah. Also, sometimes people break out. There's a lot of different things that can happen, but and to ideally you'll be working with somebody that you trust, because sometimes people think that like it's just a detox symptom, but like it's been going on for 2 weeks and they're like miserable. Okay, maybe it's not a detox symptom. Maybe we need to change your diet or something, like just be conscious of it. Just because you're uncomfortable doesn't mean it's a detox symptom. But if it's a small period of time and then you feel better, then it probably was.
But like mentally, you would be like craving things during that time too, right? And it's kind of like,
Yes. Okay. So usually when you're going through the physical issues, it's like, oh my gosh, this is terrible. I don't know about the craving so much, because you're already not feeling good. So it's not like your body's like craving things. You're just like kind of fatigued. But if you are craving things, always like ginger tea is good. Ginger tea will reduce cravings, just because I don't know, it has a lot, for some reason it reduces cravings for me. Obviously staying very hydrated. There are like electrolyte powders. There's this brand that I use, Superior, actually. I can show you guys. And it's like has a little bit of cane sugar, but the rest, or coconut sugar, but the rest is like good, which is hard to find for an electrolyte. So big fan of electrolyte water when you're feeling like fatigued like that. And green juice, and obviously resting. Don't do any kind of extraneous exercise. And then if you're craving like sugar type things, you can make these little like energy bowls, which are like dates and nuts. You don't want to have a crazy amount of it, but like whatever. So like some dates and nuts in a food processor, and like maybe even putting cacao powder on it, and have these little like energy balls. And that's just like a treat that you're like, oh, I didn't know I could have this, you know. Tons of fruit, because fruit is hydrating, and sugar, like you were saying, Gosia, about at night when you don't really have those salt and sugar cravings. Well, I still kind of do. It's not like I'm necessarily craving chips, but like I like to snack at night when I'm watching TV or something. It's a total habitual thing, but I haven't overcome it yet. So I like berries, or like whatever, sprouts, or whatever, even if it's like popcorn or something. But berries are my go-to when I'm in like cleanse mode. Berries and fruit is like my go-to. Yeah.
Pistachios are my go-tos usually.
Ooh,
yeah.
good.
So, okay, so then from an emotional and a spiritual standpoint, there's another thing that I've really noticed, which is definitely emotions are heightened during that period of time. Big time. People are like, it's not even like, it could be stressed, but oftentimes it's like a release of like sadness. People cry a lot, I see it a lot. It's really interesting. And I think it's like you cry through your tear ducts, and like it's literally a release in some way. And then also as your body is like kind of sorting through all its issues, it's like, oh, that's an issue. Let's bring that out.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because like spiritually, we keep like energetically, I think we keep trauma, which has to do with emotions, like, well, I mean, in our chakra system, it's supposed to be down in your belly area, right? That's where I feel like I keep my trauma there. And if I lost weight there, it would be released. I've actually felt that when I've done I went to the raw vegan retreat as well in 2021, and I actually felt I was very emotional, and I felt like I was releasing baggage from like years. And I know people don't usually think about it that way, but yeah, I agree with that. When you're detoxing, it's not just physical, because everything's related, right? And it's just all coming
Everything is
out.
connected.
Yeah.
So our physicality is connected to our mentality as well, to our emotional states as well, to our spiritual side. I feel like the toxins mix up with the trapped emotions that are stored in the body, which is also science. It's been proven scientifically that we do store energy in the body, and whilst we cleanse, we work towards releasing those toxins as well as those trapped emotions we have within them, which is the energy, right? The emotions are energy as well.
Yeah. Would you agree with that, Rebecca?
Yeah, I think that like there, I don't know, I'm just processing. I'm trying
It's
to
okay.
think how, no, I'm just thinking like why it is that happens. Like I think that it has a lot to do with hormones, and like just stress hormones are being released. So it's like the fight or flight state that our bodies are like normally in, it's somehow balancing it out a little bit. And in order to balance it out, it's like the pendulum swing.
Yeah.
Like on one hand, you're really on fight or flight, and then in order to get out of fight or flight, you gotta like cry it out and like really release it, and then like sooner or later you're gonna balance out a little bit. But I think that we're in such an extreme state pretty typically, like just in day to day in our current society, that like it kind of takes an extreme to release it. So it's okay to have an extreme release during these periods of time, because we have an extreme trauma in our lives. We all do. So the question is how to safely hold that space so that you don't get scared by it, and that it helps you to move forward rather than like triggers you even more. That's the thing.
Right.
That's the important thing, that maybe you guys could talk on, because that's more your expertise.
The one
Well,
thing
yeah.
that always helps me is when I remind myself that it's only temporary. So even if it's a pain, if it's a physical pain, for example, so let's compare it to someone releasing the toxins and feeling very emotional. Everything is temporary, always, and it will pass. And when we like look back at our past experiences and remember the things we've been through, it's all past. It's not like we never get stuck in one emotion or a situation or a pain. It always passes. So I always remind myself that it will pass, and I just accept the moment as it is. Okay, at the moment it hurts, I'm in pain, but it will pass. And usually it does after a few minutes, or depending what it is, depending what pain or difficulty I'm going through. So that's something that I always advise on my clients.
This is one thing I wanted to add that is a new part of my practice, which is cold showers. So it can be used in a moment of challenging emotional state, because it definitely like brings out endorphins to your brain. So it doesn't have to be a cold shower, because that sounds like I'm already in pain and miserable. I'm not going to take a freaking cold shower. But I take like a hot shower for like 10 minutes, like, because that's, I don't know what it is, but I think a lot of women love hot showers. Take a really hot shower and then like just 10, 15, maximum 30 seconds of cold at the end. And it's uncomfortable, but not that crazy, because you just were really hot. So it's kind of relieving. And then also you just keep thinking to yourself, I can do hard things. I can do hard things. I can
endurance.
So the like, this will pass, number one, and number two, I can do hard things, because it's true. You can do hard things, and you have to prove that to yourself. You can't just tell it to yourself. You have to prove it to yourself. And the more that you prove it to yourself, the more that you have confidence. And then you get out of the shower and you're like a superhero. I swear, 10 seconds of cold water and you're like, oh, everything's good. It's so interesting. Like, I remember I did this when I was at Hippocrates. I'd never done these cold plunges before, but they're like all over TikTok, you know? And they say to be in the hot tub for 10 minutes and then go into the cold water for 10, 15, 30 seconds. So I did that and they say to do it 10 times. 7 cycles of that in one day. And so I did that. And I remember that day I was like, I feel so happy. I feel so grounded. I feel so like whole, more than I usually do. And I was wondering, is it just because I'm here at Hippocrates? Is it because I'm having all this wonderful food? It's like, I usually have this food and like, I feel really another level of good. And so then the next day I was still having the same food, but I didn't do the cold plunge and I didn't feel that level of like, almost like euphoria. Yeah. So now it's like really a tool when you're feeling low to use that is just like in our toolbox.
That's so interesting. Maybe our listeners don't know what Hippocrates is, even though you probably talk about it every day. But just to add that in, Hippocrates is a health institute. It's a raw vegan retreat center. They probably wouldn't say it like this, but that is how I describe it. And I was there as well for a couple weeks in 2021. So just, they are interesting. They're amazing. They have like top class vegan chefs, but then they have all these pools, mineral pools, and one of them is really cold and they have a hot one. I did not do what Rebecca was describing while I was there. That cold pool was too much for me. I mean, I tried, but it was cold.
I have been doing cold showers. I've not been doing them for a few months now. I don't know why.
It's the winter, that's why.
Because it's winter. Yeah, but usually in the summer I do have cold shower, and I feel amazing afterwards. I feel like I can fly. Everything is fine. Everything is great. I've got nothing to complain about. Life is great.
So funny, right?
It's like this. It's
yeah.
like, I guess the Swedish invented that with the saunas and then jumping in the ice water. They figured it out.
It does help with improving the immune system as well, because then it prepares you for the cold weather. You don't get colds or flus that often. And this paired with like healthy lifestyle, like healthy, nutritious, high vibrational foods. And I wouldn't say that you will never get a cold, because then I believe that there's also other factors that come in, like our emotional states that can cause us to catch certain viruses and bacteria.
Yeah.
But
that helps with the
yes,
emotional state. The cold shower, that's the whole point.
It does,
right?
yes.
Bring you closer to bliss.
To bliss.
But the reason why I brought the cold shower up was for an acute, like, yes, it's a tool, but it's not the fix because it doesn't last. It lasts for like a day or something. So it's just a tool. Yeah.
To teach you what you're capable of.
Yes. To teach you what you're capable of. To give you that spike of good feeling, to see that life isn't really so terrible. But then the tools for nurturing your emotions is the question. Because I just had a call this morning. Every Sunday at 10:30, I have, recently at least, I've been having our like meal prep together. So we literally go live on Zoom and everybody's like in their kitchen meal prepping, or just like talking about issues that they had during the week or wins. So I'm talking to the 3 people who showed up this morning, and they all were saying, oh, I didn't do so well this week. Or one did actually really well. She lost 8 pounds this week. But the other was like, oh, I didn't really do so well this week. I was like, well, what of the things that you need to do you feel like you need to do more of? She was like, I need to do all of it, really overwhelmed. And she was like, but really, I just need to sit with myself and like reflect on the things that I am doing well, because I think I'm really too hard on myself. So like, you know what? The one thing that I need to do more of is journaling. So it's like, it went from, I need to do everything, I'm doing everything wrong, to I just need to journal for a couple minutes a day. So, that's the balance. That's the power of the mind, that the mind is like really in the driver's seat, and you need to take control of the wheel, not your mind. There's a difference there. So it's not your mind, it's you that takes control of the driver's seat and is going to center yourself. And that's your soul or your spirit or whatever it is that you want to call it. But know that you are different than your mind and your thoughts that you're having. And when you can recognize that, that's when you can start to talk yourself down from the emotional, from the cycles of thoughts in your mind.
Yes,
completely
definitely
agree with everything you just said. We're coming close to the end of this episode, but I just wanted to add to that that's what I also teach in meditation. It's just like, you are not your thoughts. And I just want to say, anybody who really makes a choice to be healthy, and if it's a drastic change, that takes so much courage. Like, and to be able to go through it and at the end say, I did that, is really an accomplishment, because you can do it again. You can go further. And to have control yourself of your own health, that is quite an achievement. That is something to be so proud of, because I don't know about most people, but I think that a lot of us feel out of control of our lives and our bodies and our health. Like, you don't know what's going on in your body. You have to go and talk to someone, a professional, about it, and you're not supposed to be thinking for yourself about it. But when you make a choice like this to change your lifestyle, you start to see that you can heal yourself and you can make choices and you're in control. That's such a great feeling, to be in control.
You gave me chills.
I don't know. I feel like I was channeling all that.
You just gave me.
I was like, what am I saying? Yeah, but maybe I'm channeling you, Rebecca.
Yes.
You're very inspirational to me.
Yes, that was spot on.
You take your power back. Basically, you take your power back and you realize that you've always had it.
You've always
you just
had
suppressed it. Yeah, you
no,
suppressed
I'm getting
it.
chills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or not even that
That's-
we suppressed it, but it's been suppressed by society. Society didn't tell us that we had it. You know, like
Yes.
we were told that to eat your fruits and vegetables and to go to the doctor and you need checkups and you need this and you need to come in. And it's like, okay, fine. But like, why am I not being told by the authority that I'm trusting that I have power? This
Yeah.
this is not the fundamental message that they're giving us. So it's not really our
No.
fault for not thinking that we have the power. But now we can relearn through the power of food as medicine that we have the control to make choices on how we feel and where and what our life looks like and how our bodies are. And that is a really empowering feeling, because feeling out of control is when we start to not feel good, and then you give up, and that's when we spiral out. But you start to be in control, the sky is the limit.
Absolutely.
That's right.
Endless
Absolutely.
possibilities.
We're not being exactly empowered since childhood. Yeah, we just being told that we need to rely on drugs, and that I've never personally been told that my body can heal itself. And I'd like to mention a quote from Dolores Cannon, who said that our body is an amazing machine, and if not being interfered with, can heal itself. It's made to heal itself. But because we're just being taught these messages about having to take drugs and not being empowered to eat healthily, not taking responsibility for our health, that's when our health begin to deteriorate, and we develop illnesses and sicknesses.
Yeah.
Where we have all the powers within, and we can heal ourselves.
Yes, I completely agree. Well, I think that concludes episode 10 of the Let Me Think podcast. It has been so wonderful to have you, Rebecca. Can you tell everybody again? Like, well, I just want to add, like, I don't know, I want to add more to whatever she's about to say and what she has already said about what she offers, but she's not just offering to give you all the microgreens and all the superfoods and all the motivation, but part of the motivation is that she has these coaching calls every Wednesday, and she personally coaches people on their journeys. She really cares about every single person that comes to Perfect Foods to change their lives. So I'm going to stop there. Would you like to say anything? How can people reach you, and how can they
find with you?
Yeah, so you can just go on our website, 800wheatgrass.com, and there you can find all the products that we have if you want to just like a la carte get a shipment of products. Or you can book a call with me. Right on the front page it says book a call, and we can chat for a few minutes, and I can help to guide you on what it is that you need if you want to just start with sprouting yourself or whatever. But we do ship countrywide. So and then Instagram, I'm constantly on Instagram, so Perfect Foods Inc. is our Instagram, and that's pretty much it. Thank you, ladies. This has been so fun.
Thank you so much. Yeah,
Thank
she has
you,
a great
Rebecca.
Instagram. Thank you, and we will be back again with episode 11.
Can't wait.